highly sought after trainer and coacher. She recruited and developed over 125 sales associates, including team leaders, and generated over $1.5 million in personal sales. In 2007, she received the company's most prestigious leadership award. Now, as a certified John Maxwell team member, she coaches individuals and companies to improve their results and increase productivity through leadership, communication, and personal growth development. She also volunteers as a mentor for teenage girls at Trinity Church in Deltona, where she has been a member for 30 years. Please give a warm welcome to Anita Pandoff.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alan. Good morning, Chamber. How is everybody? Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay, because I'm not going to use that microphone. It goes off and on and off and on. So, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. My name, like he said, is Anita Pandoff, and I am a certified speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. How many of you know John Maxwell? Anybody here know John? Okay. So I was familiar with him some, but until I became a member, I did not realize the impact he's had on the world, actually. He has written over 100 books and been translated into 50 different languages and has sold more than 46 million copies. This man is like number 6 on the all-time bestseller list for Amazon. So amazing stuff, and I love his content. It's so rich because he not only brings his own wisdom and his experience to the books, but he also gleans other people's wisdom and experience. So it's really awesome. You get such a good, rich mixture, and then it's very easy to read and very easy to implement. It's very easy, practical. So today I'm going to take an excerpt from his book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And obviously I don't have time to give you everything that I could today, but for the time that I have, I'm going to give you my best. And at the end, for those of you who know you want to take a little deeper dive into this material, I'll share with you some ways that we can work together to perfect this material in your life. Okay? Sound fair? Everybody good? All right. How many of you would say that you would like to improve your results? Who here wants to improve their results? That's like a no-brainer, right? We all want to improve our results, whether it's in, any area of your life. And you might think that you need to have more skills or more talent or maybe more experience to do that. But actually the truth is, in order to improve your results in any area of your life, one of the best ways to do it is to improve your ability to connect with people. Whether we like it or not, we need people. In today's fast-paced society with social media and all that, collaboration, to be successful, you have to be, collaborating with other people. And in order to do that, you have to learn to connect. According to the Harvard Business Review, the #1 criteria for promotion and advancement among professionals is the ability to communicate effectively. I thought that was pretty wild, that that's the #1 criteria. And the friction we have in day-to-day life usually comes down to a lack of leadership, influence, and connecting. And all of these principles, this is the good news, all of these principles are 100% teachable skills, okay? They're absolutely teachable skills. Anyone can learn to make every communication an opportunity for a powerful connection. You can learn to lead. You can learn to connect. You can learn to influence people in an ethical way if you want to. It's within your reach. It may be out of your comfort zone a little, but it's within your reach. It really is a skill more than it is a talent. And learning to connect can make such a big difference in all of your results. I mean, people just are not aware of how much the lack of connecting or the benefit of connecting impacts their life. I mean, we've all had this happen. This happened to me just the other day. Walked into a restaurant, you get seated by the hostess, and you're sitting there for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and the server might walk by you once or twice, doesn't even acknowledge you're sitting there, right? That server doesn't realize that directly impacts them when it comes time for me to pay the bill and leave a tip, right? Just a real quick, hey, I'll be right with you in a minute. What a difference that makes, right? Everybody's experienced that, so you know what I'm talking about. And Connecting is the ability to identify with people and relate to them in such a way that it increases your influence over them. I worked with a lady last year that was just shocked at how just implementing this one thing, just valuing people, influencing and connecting with people comes down to valuing people. This is the secret, okay, if you want to know the secret. Put a value on people. Look at people as if they're valuable. And it's amazing how much better you connect and you communicate. It really doesn't matter so much what you say. You can have all the perfect words, but if your attitude doesn't exude that you value that person, they know it, right? They know it. If you like people or you don't, they know it, right? But this lady that I was working with, she implemented just this one thing in her customer relations. She started to be a little more, aware of her regular customers and what they liked and what their names were and maybe how many kids they had, stuff like that. Started building a relationship with them. She was amazed that it actually increased her sales. And then with her team, she just implemented this one simple thing. She said, I'm gonna just take the time, if one of my team members comes into my office, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to look at them. That's all she did. She just stopped and looked at them and listened to them talk. She said the morale in the office just went up the roof, So it's just amazing how just that one little thing can make such a difference with your people. When people feel valued and appreciated, they automatically respond better. They produce better. They're gonna be less likely to call out sick and stuff like that, because people don't quit companies, people quit people. So it's how they're treated and how they feel about their how they're treated at work. You see, this wouldn't be such a problem. Connecting wouldn't be such a problem if we weren't such emotional creatures. Even if we don't like to admit that we're emotional creatures, we really are. We think we have an intellect and we're rational and all that, logical, but that's really just a facade. When it comes down to it, we're all emotional, right? It makes me think of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. Anybody know that show? Okay, right? Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. He prides himself on being very unemotional, right? He's all logical. He's Mr. Genius. But if you were to criticize his genius, his emotions fly, right? So it's basically emotional. And even people who are more logical, to understand how to connect emotionally, we need to understand that we all see the world differently. When I bring up this next slide, I want you to just shout out to me what you see. Just the first thing you see, just shout it out. You guys ready? Okay.
Love. I saw
Okay. How many of you saw the black vase first? Who saw the black vase? Okay. How many of you saw the two people? I heard you say two people facing each other. Okay. For those of you who saw the black vase first, when I said two people facing each other, did you see it? And for those of you who saw the two people when I said the black vase, did you see it? Isn't that interesting? It's the same picture, but we all view it differently. The difference is in the individual. It's in us. You see, we've all had different experiences in our lives, and different things have happened to us. And that affects, as adults, that affects the way we see the world. This difference is called conditioning. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. This goes a long way in explaining why we don't get what we want. We tend to get what we are. And the implications for this are huge when it comes down to communication. We all have different beliefs, we have different passions, different things are important to different people. And to ignore this when trying to connect is to miss the entire point of connecting. Connectors know this. They know they have to connect on common ground. We've all had this happen to us before where you walk up to a person, you don't really know this person, you meet them for the first time, and you get talking to them, and within the first few minutes of your conversation, you realize that you have something in common. Maybe you went to the same school together, or maybe you worked at the same place, or you lived in the same hometown, and it's like, oh my gosh, you went to Seminole High School, so did I, that's so cool. Immediately you like that person, right? Immediately you have a connection with that person. Now, they might be a serial killer, but you still like them, right? Okay, you already got that, right? Okay. So if we want to connect with someone, we need to meet them where we have common ground. Find the common ground. Where our beliefs and theirs intersect, that's common ground. Meet them there, and then take them where you want them to go. I had an experience about 1.5 years ago. My father passed away. And he had spent most of his life in North Carolina and Virginia, but he was living here for the last 1.5 years or so. He had all of his funeral arrangements were done up in North Carolina in his hometown. So I had to find a funeral home here to take care of the body and ship it back to North Carolina, right? Through a referral, this is how powerful referrals are, you guys. Through a referral, I called Altman Long Funeral Home right here in DeBary. Anybody know the place? You guys familiar with it? Right here on 1792. Fabulous, fabulous place. Let me just tell you, these people were amazing. From the minute he picked up the phone, the director's name is John. From the minute he picked up the phone, he was warm, he was pleasant, he was compassionate, friendly. Now you might think a funeral director has to be that way. But no, this was over and above, okay? And then when I told him what my needs were and he told me the price, I got really quiet. And he said, I take it that's not what you were expecting. I said, no, that's about twice as much as I was expecting, but we'll manage. And he said, well, let me see what I can do for you. Okay, so a couple hours later, I went down to settle up with him and finalize everything. And again, we connected. He connected with me. Started talking about the fact that his father started this practice, the funeral home down here in DeBary, over 50 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, I used to live in DeBary over 50 years ago. For about 3 years, I lived in DeBary before I moved away and then came back, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I lived here. Do you guys remember when the baseball field was right here where the Winn-Dixie is? Anybody remember that? No? Okay. You guys aren't as old as me. No, just kidding. Anyways, so we talked, we connected on that level. Then I said something about my family background with military, and he said, oh, he had some family background with military. So we connected on that front. But here was the kicker. When it came down to giving him the money, he said, oh, by the way, we decided we're gonna help you out a little, save you a couple $100. He said, my father, even though he's retired now, has turned over the business to me, he still helps out occasionally. So he's decided he's just gonna drive your dad back to North Carolina. Wow. You guys, that's 10 hours there, 10 hours back. 2 days this man took out of his life to save me a couple $100. But here's the kicker. This is what neither one of them had any clue about. My dad rarely ever flew on a plane, okay? He loved to take road trips. And with him living in North Carolina and me living here, we must have traveled up and down I-95 over 100 times. How appropriate that his last road trip was down I-95 back to his hometown, right? That's the power of connecting, okay? That's the power of connecting. So this requires energy, though. You know, these guys had to take some effort to do this. It requires energy and it requires time. But isn't that the way it is with anything in life? John says, everything in life that's worthwhile is uphill, right? I love this quote by Max Dupree that says, there may be no single thing more important in our efforts to achieve meaningful work and fulfilling relationships than to learn to practice the art of communication. I couldn't agree more. Now we're just about out of time, so I'm gonna have to leave it there, but I hope you heard something that you can take and start to apply right away. I want you to be able to improve your results, at least just in this one area. Just take a look at just valuing people. That's what causes you to connect with them the best. But just keep in mind that just hearing this information doesn't really have the impact that you might want it to, because this is just a one-time event. Change is a process. We tend to overestimate the one-time event and we underestimate the process. How's the saying go? If we keep doing the same thing we've always done, we're gonna keep getting the same thing we've always gotten, right? So in order to improve results, we have to make changes in our behavior. And that takes effort, it takes some time. And I told you at the beginning that I was gonna share with you some ways that you could take these principles and implement them into your life. So I've got three amazing programs that will help you do just that, to take your communication or your personal growth to the next level. Just imagine what would happen if you and your team were to make connection and communicating a priority. Or what would it do for your personal growth if you applied that in not only your business, but also in your personal life? You know, I love to work on personal growth. Communication is like a specific area that you want to work in, but personal growth is just a good all-around place to start, because it's kind of like the engine of a train. It's the driving force that brings all the other areas of your life into the direction you want it to go. So working on personal growth is really a great place to start. So I have two mastermind groups that I'm going to be conducting and coming up in the next couple of weeks. One is going to be on the communication and connecting, and the other one's going to be on the personal growth. I've got flyers over there with the dates and times, so I won't go all over that now, but this is the cool part about doing, I call it a power hour group. Mastermind is the proper title, but it's so amazing to me how much better we learn things when we have people to share it with. We're going to use the collective energy of all these great minds in this group, and when we bounce ideas off each other and we see other people's perspectives, it really opens up our awareness, and we learn the information so much better. I mean, just reading a book is a great idea. Read the book, please, but joining that mastermind group is really going to hone it in and get it down into you so that you really learn it well, and can help you learn how to implement it as well. And then I'm also offering, and by the way, those mastermind groups that I'm starting for, normally the communication one is a 5-week class. This is the cool part. You guys ready? It's online, it's virtual. We're gonna do it on the Zoom platform, so you don't even have to leave the house or the office. Yay, really easy. You just click on the button and you jump in the group. It's 1 hour a week. That's all you're gonna have to do is 1 hour a week for 5 weeks is the communication one. Normally that's $150 per person. And the personal growth group, that's an 8-week class, just 1 hour a week, and that's normally $200 per person. But today, yay, you get a deal, right? Because you're all chamber members, anybody that joins from today, you get half price. And when you get somebody to join with you, you get an additional discount off of that. The reason why I say that is because, it's so much more fun to have somebody to go through the class with you that you know well, because you can really connect with that person and say, hey, what are you learning? What did you get out of this? And really kind of just have somebody outside of the class that you can speak with as well. Okay, so it's really good to have a friend join. Plus, I'm also offering for any chamber company that's here today, any chamber member that's a company that you would like me to come in and speak to your team, I am offering a free lunch and learn. It doesn't have to be at lunch. It can be whatever time of the day you want. And you can provide a meal for your team if you want, or not. They can just bring their own, whatever. But most people have to eat lunch, so we can do it during your lunch hour so it doesn't take time away from your day. And I come in for 35, 45 minutes and speak to your team. And if they all like it and you want to do further, we can sit down and talk about that. And I also have personal coaching, one-on-one personal coaching. If you have a specific goal that you're trying to meet and you want to really hone in on it, or you just feel stuck. I don't know about you guys, but there's been times in my life where I just got stuck. I got to the best I could be at a certain thing and I just couldn't seem to go any further. Or I started noticing that I was self-sabotaging myself, right? We do that. We don't even know we're doing it. It's hard to see yourself when you're in the picture. You know what I mean? So that's what personal coaching does for you. One-on-one personal coaching helps you get unstuck or helps you hone in on a specific goal. It's very customized, it's very personal, and we work on whatever you want to work on. But let me just close with this. When I first heard about the John Maxwell team and becoming a member, I knew right off the bat, this is what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life. I enjoyed my direct sales business, but I knew that there was a change that I needed to make, and this is it, because I love being a part of something significant. I love to make improvements in people's lives. I love to see people grow. it's so cool to watch the light bulb come on and people go, oh, I get it, right? It's so awesome. And I learn it better. It keeps me growing too by helping you guys grow. But when they told me the price of the program, I was like, okay, I knew I was gonna have to grow and stretch, but that's gonna be a real stretch, right? But I did what I had to do to make it work. I found the time. I found the funds. You know, we find that what we make important in our lives is what we will get out of our lives. And the rest of it, we just make excuses for, right? So what's important to you, you'll make time for, you'll find the funds for. So what I'm asking is, just imagine what would happen if you were to take another level in your personal growth and just try one of these groups and see if you don't see some results. In fact, I have a 100% money back guarantee. If you feel you didn't get anything valuable at all out of any of my programs, you absolutely, no questions asked, get your money back. So please feel free to come up and chat with me. I've got some books over there you can look at, and there's some flyers for the personal growth and communication power hours. And